everyone. Welcome back to Lash Boss Radio. I'm Shelby, your host, and today I'm joined by Cari McGrath. You guys may know her as Luca Lash on Instagram. She is the inventor and the brains behind the MesmerEyes Method, which is basically color theory for lash extensions. So we're going to talk all about that today and also the future of the lash industry. So welcome to the show, Cari.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so curious about this MesmerEyes method. When did you come up with it and how did you come up with it?
So yeah, basically once I learned some things about color theory and color analysis specifically, I couldn't really look at lashes the same anymore. I realized if not everyone's supposed to be wearing the color black, why are we putting black lashes on absolutely everybody? Which happened to fall into the perfect timing because brown lashes had just kind of started trending. But then I was like, okay, wait a second, let me see if I can even make this something even more. And then it kind of just took off and here we are.
Wow. So are you still doing lashes yourself and do you do this pretty much on every client?
Yeah, pretty much. Majority of all my clients switched.
So for somebody looking to offer this as well, do you offer any courses or how does that work?
Yeah, so I have an online course, and then I have been actually slowly rolling out some in-person classes, but it's a much more advanced class. So because I wasn't just stopping there, I don't have the ability to just stop. I just continuously keep going. So I created a much more artistic version. I figured out how to do this kind of for more vivid lash artists too. And so I took all of these principles and I've made an advanced manual. So that is a 2-day in-person class that is all about the artistry. You get to go over more in-depth analysis stuff, and people will pretty much leave. I can guarantee they will have a much better understanding than just doing the online class. But I would definitely urge people to take the online class first, just to even see if it's something that they want to do, because this is such an in-depth thing, and it's a little intense. It's really fun once you get it, but it's not going to be for everybody, and so that's why I kind of offer it to people who've already taken the class.
Gotcha. And so I've seen online, and I've also had a color analysis done before, but I feel like I completely forgot what category I am because there's summers and springs and all of this stuff, right? Okay. And I don't even remember what they told me. They just gave me a picture of all of these different colors and they were like, these are the colors that would look best on you. And yeah, so online though, I see people getting their analysis done for clothes that they're wearing. So is this kind of like what you're doing when you do a consultation where you're bringing something out and testing it on them, or what does that look like?
So I do a whole digital analysis process. So I have these assessors that are basically these strips that have different colors on them. And so I don't do drapings. I literally, Shelby, I taught myself everything. So I taught myself the science behind this. So I think about it from more of an art standpoint. I think about it more from just color theory in general. And so what I've done and what I realized was really important was that there needed to be a way that I could streamline this, that I could make this easier for lash artists or anyone in the makeup artists, anyone in the beauty industry that was going to be able to do this, because I really do think that this is something that needs to be taught in beauty schools, because how we've been taught is actually incorrect. And so when people are saying that they can look at their undertones and figure out what someone is just by looking at them, that's not actually necessarily true. So there's these processes that you can go through, but a lot of times the draping will take too long, or so I did I came up with basically digital draping in a way that it was just going to take 5 minutes that I could do it, and then I know exactly what I'm looking at. But yes, it is based off of the 12 season color analysis, but I really wanted to break it down even more and not really put people in boxes. So I made it strictly just based off of undertone, value, and intensity. So that way I just know what my client's natural palette is and how to basically just harmonize with that.
Got it. Because you're considering the eye color, whereas when you're doing clothes, they're not really caring about the eyes. It's more the skin and the hair. So in this case, are you looking at all three, eyes, skin, and hair, or just eyes?
No, I look at undertone first. I look at all of that first, and then I basically pick a complementary color or a analogous color that is going to be say for example, so if we're taught that orange is a color that is complementary to blue. If someone has blue eyes, but what if that person has a cool undertone? Orange is a warm undertone. So then you're going to get this really not good kind of clashing color that's going to end up making your client look sick. So what you do is you choose like a purple, or you choose something that's burgundy, something that's going to be more in that cooler range. So that way you can still have that eye enhancing effect, but it also makes the skin glow and harmonize, and everything looks really cohesive and polished.
Wow. How did you figure all of that out? Was it you actually messing up on clients, or like you could tell when you got something right type of thing?
So I started in my whole career as a makeup artist. So
Okay.
I had a very I started as a makeup artist, and then I learned about color analysis. So I kind of had like an idea, but I didn't understand like why. So that was why when I was saying like I really went and understood the science of it, I had fallen down the rabbit hole and watched so many of those color analysis videos. And one thing that made me so angry was like no one was explaining why. And so the ADHD in me, the person that was just, it was unacceptable. So I had to go and figure out the answers for myself to see if it was even something that was legitimate.
Uh-huh.
And then once I realized that it was actually rooted in science and like there actually was some like truth to this, I was like, okay, so now I've got to rethink some things, and I'm going to be doing things a lot differently now.
Okay, so product-wise, you are
Mhm.
mostly using the Lash Ritual, I'm guessing, because they have probably the most options for colored lashes. Are there any other brands that you use? I feel like not a lot of people do color, and when they do, they're like really bright.
Yes. Yes. That it might be a hot take that I could actually probably mention. The Lash Ritual has the best colored lashes on the market by
Mhm.
far. And what I think is really interesting is I started using the Lash Ritual. I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know what I was getting into. And so when I found them and I realized I had the best from the very beginning, I didn't know that until I started trying other brands' lashes as well. Because then I was like, oh, and, like, not to say that there's like, we can get into this too, but, like, there's a place for more translucent, shiny lashes. But for my technique to totally exist and for it to have that level of, like, opacity and that depth and that darkness, you need those colors that the Lash Ritual has. That are those really rich, dark tones because, again, like, I don't wanna get too much into this, but there's so much science and almost, like, light physics that go into this that I just kind of, like, figured all of this out over the course of this last year. Yeah, and I think the Lash Ritual has some of the best colored lashes. I really do like their browns. There's a couple other brands that I really like that have brown lashes too. One actually being Lash Vacay. Her browns are really, really good. I like those. And I know she just came out with her new collection and I'm so excited for her. And she's also one of those artists that like she's really trying to do something amazing. And I'm so proud of her for like pushing herself to try and to make a brand, and Lash Vacay is doing really well. And yeah.
Same. I just ordered all of her brown shades and I haven't gotten to try them yet. They just came yesterday, actually, at the time of recording
Oh,
this.
yay!
So I'm so pumped for her. She's done a great job. And she came to all of the Lash Boss retreats, and some of the photos that she uses are from our trips and stuff, which is really cool to see too. So when you're looking at a client that has had the MesmerEyes method done and the color theory done on them, it's not really looking like they're wearing a colored set. It's kind of just looking like they're wearing what? Black or brown or
Brown,
yeah.
brown, black, it just depends on what they have. That was the whole point.
Mhm.
So I wanted to do this in a way where color was almost seen as something that was an intentional and used for purpose that could be brought into like everyday wear. So one, it can just show kind of like show your personality, but it also has a job. So that color is almost like it's like arrows leading into your eyes. So this technique really isn't even actually about the lashes. It's more about looking straight directly into your client's eyes.
Wow, I want this done on me so badly. I
I would
This is
love
so
to do a
interesting.
digital analysis on you.
Yes, please. This is so
Yeah.
interesting. So, okay. So, tell me what life or the lash life has been like for you just ever since coming up with this method and starting to share it online.
Oh, it's been crazy. Oh, it's been crazy. So like I in February I had a video go completely viral that changed everything. It was a video that I did of my subtle color technique, and I was basically showing how I made this girl's really, really green eyes just like pop. And this video went insane. I called it the 2024 lash trend, subtle color lashes. And then that just kind of exploded and put me on the map. I think it got like 2.6 million views.
Wow.
And in this year after that video, I got to fly to Arizona to go film my online class. Then I got to what else did I do? I went and taught in New York City in New York. So I had a in-person class that I got to teach, like it was a group training, and I got to do, it was like 5 girls. So I got to go to New York. I met a lot of really, really cool, amazing people. And then this year I got asked to go to LashCon for my first time ever going as a speaker
Wow.
to be part of the color sessions. And like now I've got things like I've gone on the Last Cast podcast, which was crazy. I'm going on Talking Smack. I've been now on yours. So like it's just been so much things that have been happening. And since I've rolled out I've been telling people about my online class, I already have 3 girls flying in from like the East Coast to come to Astoria, Oregon to learn this method for the 2-day class. So like things have just been really progressing. I think there's been over 100 people that have bought my online class since all this happened. And like, it's just been crazy. I'm just so grateful for this.
And it goes to show when you do something different and unique, it's really rewarding.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you see for the future of the industry? Do you think more artists around the world are going to adopt this method?
I do think so, because here's kind of what I've noticed. I think people are skeptical because they either have like don't believe in like color analysis or that type of thing. The color sessions was a really eye-opening experience for me because there were so many different types of people that came in there. And what was funny was like in that realm, I'm the wild card. Like I was the one that like, all the other girls are like dressed in black and they all have these very like all like cute personalities. And then I'm just this little like fairy in like glitter eyeshadow and like my hair is in like a messy bun, and I had like flower earrings. Like I just looked like the oddball. But I think that was what was so special about, and they called me Tinkerbell all weekend. Like that was my nickname, surrounded by all of these amazing creative artists. And I think for me to be there, I think is a really, really telling tale of that the industry, it feels probably a little stale. I think people are wanting to kind of get a little bit more creative. I think people want to try something new. And it was the most amazing thing because we had so many different people from so many different backgrounds and so many different styles that were in the color sessions that were all just like I'm getting emotional. It was life changing. But like seeing how many different people were in there and were wanting to learn about colored lashes, and that it almost felt like this like unifying thing. The color sessions ended up becoming like the most talked about thing at LashCon. It like I really think it changed things. I really think it changed the path of the industry where people no longer see it as like these two separate things, but they can do all of it together.
I think colored lashes in general can feel intimidating. Like somebody thinks when they start adding color, it's going to be like they're going to do it wrong. So it almost feels like this is something that I think you could probably get wrong, but like because it's so subtle, like it's probably less intimidating than like the really vibrant colors in a way.
Absolutely. This is a much more, especially if you're trying to just start getting into colored lashes, this is a much more easy kind of like soothe your way in. A lot of people already do this. And this is something that I did when I was starting out and I started playing with color because I had the makeup artist background. I would always do subtle color. Actually, that has kind of always been my thing. Like even when I was in high school, I would always be doing, whether I'm wearing like a purple eyeliner or I was doing something, I always knew I wanted something that was like really always going to be like framing my eyes and like made my eyes pop. So when I was even doing black lashes and I'd step into color, I would use purple, I would use pink, I would use blue, basically in these really like, which is crazy to think about, which is in these very subtle ways that it would only like kind of just see at the very, very tips. of the lashes.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this my entire career. I just ended up taking it and like putting it on steroids.
So for somebody listening right now that's kind of intrigued or that thinks that this might be something they want to start doing, where would you suggest that they start, or where can we send them?
So honestly, I do have a favorites page on my link in my store that has a link to all of my favorite Lash products, and I would recommend all of those colors to get started. Now, the thing is with this is these are colors that you literally recognize and know. They're colors that you would usually have as like colored eyeliners, colored mascaras, so they're not scary. And when you mix them with a black or you mix them with a brown, it really creates this very soft, subtle effect. And if you want to kind of step into this and you want to kind of start offering subtle color lashes, I would suggest you to take my class, because once there's so much information in there that you're literally have probably never heard of before. And then with that, you can either stay there, or if you want to advance into this even further, then you can learn more about it and we can talk about that. And I can put you in the 2-day class and all of that, because the thing about this is like I can teach you the technicalities of this, but this is something people need to understand about colored lashes that I think also intimidates them. There are no rules. With colored lashes, it's all about stepping into your own creativity and figuring out like what you think works. Like, yes, if you want to follow mine, you're gonna get those technical rules. It's gonna be more of like the mega volume of like colored lashes because it's very specific. But if you just want to play with colored lashes, and honestly, I urge every lash artist should, whether they're doing it just for fun or even offering it as a service, you're going to tap into that creativity that isn't going to have you burn out as a lash artist anymore. You're going to start feeling excited again. And also from just like a nerdy perspective, like color literally boosts serotonin and dopamine. So like it makes you happy.
How cute. So as we head into 2025, what other trends do you think might be coming up in our industry besides this method? Because I do see also this method really taking off this coming year
Oh,
too.
thank you. I hope so. I have never put so much heart and soul into something. Like like once I get obsessed with something, like I just like can't stop. But like I felt like this was so valuable to lash artists, and something that they have said to me is like everyone's like you can literally feel your passion. I mean, I built this thing from the ground up, like, and it's like changed my entire life. It's changed my business, everything. So like, yes, I'm extremely passionate about it, but it's so fun and creative for me because like I've always been a creative person. So to be able to have something, and also what I think is kind of cool is I've literally created an entirely different world of colored lashes. It's
Mhm.
no longer just like traditional or like vivid lashes. Like this is combining the two, and it's also down an entirely different road. So this is something that like you can truly specialize in, and like it's something different, it's something you've never done before, and it's like it's just fun. It's just super fun. I think brown lashes are gonna be trending. I think soft, like, natural sets are definitely gonna be trending again. I am curious, though, because I am noticing more of the makeup trends moving back to, like, more kind of grungy, more a little bit it's been very clean girl, but, like, I feel like now it's kind of going back to a little bit more dramatic. So I am curious if I think more styled sets are gonna come out. I think people are definitely done with cookie cutter sets, whether that or cookie cutter beauty just in general. Everyone is leaning more towards personalization. Everyone's leaning more towards customization. I think the lash artists that can see that and are open to wanting to learn more and learn these more artistic sets, learn the different textures. And also, I think now is going to be the time where artists need to find their signature style. I think being able to find something that sets you apart, whatever that is going to be this next year is the year of individuality. I truly, truly think so. And so finding what makes you happy, finding what you love, and just doing that, I think is really going to be kind of the course of next year.
I can totally see that too. I think people are really done with the sets that you can tell are the cookie cutter like you describe, and that don't have a lot of like variation in length and throughout each section. And at my salon, we specialize in really soft, realistic looking lashes. And I've always said that I feel like because they're so timeless, we're less subject to all of the ups and downs with all of the trends. And so having specializing in something like that alongside anything that's like custom, like any customizing type of options, I think is a super great idea for lash artists. And of course, like the trendy stuff too, like we've seen anime and mega volume really take off certain years, and I think all of that's fun too. But I think majority of people are always going to want something that is timeless and something that like brings out their features or is customized to them. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think personalization, absolutely. But if I'm also being honest, I think we also really for the industry right now, and like with the economy and like all the stuff that's been talked about in the industry about like it like dying, and like we've seen lash artists, like more lash artists quit this year than I think I've ever seen before. I think next year, I think we're really going to go back to customer service. I think it's going to be a really, really big influx in like how the career lash artists are treating their clients, because I think that is a missing point right now. And I also think that I think this next year, we really kind of need to go back to and remember like why we got into this industry in the first place. This year has been really interesting. And I've noticed this from like my own perspective, because when I think it was like in like it was last year when I first opened up my first studio. I wanted to get into education because this is kind of a hot take. So this is just my thought on this. I wanted to get into education because like I've been seeing that be like that was like the thing. Like that's that next step as a lash artist, because they've been saying like you can't do this forever. So like if you want to like scale your business, step into education. So I tried training a few people on just like the fundamentals and the basics, and truthfully, I didn't really enjoy it. I loved teaching, and I loved teaching my clients and like how for them how to like take care of their lashes and all of that. But when it came to teaching just like the fundamentals for lash artists, I didn't particularly enjoy it. And I thought that that was really interesting, but there was still this drive in me that like still wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't know what for. So I just went back to educating my clients. And I think that also is part of the reason why I really stand out. Like as a lash artist in my area is I think I've honestly turned my clients into menaces. It like they know so much about like how the ins and outs of this work, because I want them to be educated. Like if they ever move or they go somewhere and they need to go see another lash artist, that they are spending their money wisely. They know what they're looking for. They know how to notice who's a good lash artist, and the red flags and what are the green flags. I found that really important. So educating my clients was something that was really, really important to me. And it made me realize that I really loved teaching, but I wanted to be able to teach something that was like my own thing. And I do think it's really interesting, and maybe you can comment on this too. Have you noticed this like giant influx of everyone wanting to become an educator right now?
I mean, I think it's been around for a while. I have my thoughts on it too, but yeah, I'll say my thoughts after.
I think that I don't know. I wonder, because so I'm just going to say this from my experience. I am curious if, because everyone is wanting to become an educator right now, or everyone's really kind of wanting to like be an influencer right now, and there's this push that being just a career lash artist is kind of the starting ground, that it's like it's not that big of a deal, that like just even applying employment for yourself isn't like a massive amazing opportunity, like, thing to be proud of. Oh, I'm getting nervous. I don't really speak up about these kinds of
Nope.
things, but I'm like,
I know the sentiment. Yeah, I sometimes I don't share like my opinions either, because it's just it is nerve wracking. But I can speak to this, and then you can add to it. But I think the reason why we saw so many people start feeling like I'm just a lash artist and I want to now educate is because we also had people at the same time teaching courses about how to sell a course, or teaching courses about it was people that were making their money off of other people and telling them how to feel about being a lash artist versus being an educator. And so we had a lot of that messaging out for a few years, I think. And it was people sometimes not with the greatest intentions, I think. And that ended up coming out much later, where there were some people that pretty much did some scammy type of things in our industry. And those were basically, there were some of those people not with great intentions that we're telling people, hey, you're just a lash artist. You can't do this forever. Which why are we telling people that?
Why are you
Because
telling that?
that's actually not the
Hairdresser
case, because you're right. Hairdressers do this as a career
for
until
30
they retire.
years. Absolutely.
Nail artists as well. And so
Yeah.
our industry is so new that I think you can trick people to believe what you're saying because they don't know yet. But when we think about it, who were those people telling us that? It was the people that had courses about how to make passive income, how to stop trading your time for money, and all of this stuff. They had something to gain by people believing that. So, but when you think about it, it's like, what did those people do to make their money? They just sold this idea to other people, and that's where their money was coming from. So for me personally, like, I would never want to learn from somebody that hasn't actually done what I'm trying to do and like teach actual skills, not like just how to sell something, because I definitely don't want to buy from somebody that isn't like, if I wanted to take a course on marketing, I would take a course on marketing. If I wanted to take a course on something, I would take a course on that specifically. I'm not going to. I think it was like we started seeing, we were all as an industry retiring certain lash artists because they were making money off of everyone saying these things. So I think that I don't agree with that mostly. I'm sure some people had great intentions. I'm not thinking of them right now, but I'm just thinking of the ones that like didn't have the best intentions and the messaging that was being spread, and that not being a good thing overall. But
No, we're exactly on the same page about this, because like I think that, and then this, like with social media and the constant FOMO, and also people and those educators, because they were selling their own course, showing this very luxury lifestyle, showing that they were able to do all of this. And some of them I'm sure absolutely were. But I think what people need to realize, and something that this messaging is really causing an issue, is that I don't think that everyone is meant to be an educator. I don't think everyone is meant to be an influencer. I don't think that there needs to be this like hierarchy of it. Like if you're just a lash artist, like that's like, and I'm saying this because I fell into this. Like I'm being honest. Being on camera, that made sense to me. But that's not for everyone. And I feel like that's a message that's kind of being pushed, that like there's the rise of like the lash influencers. But like what people don't see is that there's so much work that goes into this as well too. So you're working your 9 to 5 as a lash artist, but then you're also working till 10 a.m., 11 p.m., even later, not spending time with your family because you're constantly trying to like grow this other thing too. This lifestyle isn't just for everyone. And I think that we need to stop belittling the lash artists and the career lash artists, that this is what they want to do. This is what they love. And as someone who's literally seen it both sides, and actually luckily had clients that were kind enough and cared about me enough to tell me that like they were worried because of how much because I'm passionate. I talk about things, and I also have ADHD, so I sometimes yap away too much. But even though I had zero intentions of it, they started feeling doubt. They started wondering if I was even going to be a lash artist anymore. And this summer when I got in a car accident, I went from having my books, and this, I'm saying this to the lash artists right now that are feeling maybe stressed out that they don't have like their book super, super full or something, like they're feeling like this and it's really slow right now. I'm saying this because I'm honestly right there with you. This summer, I was in a car accident. I had to take 2 months off of work. It was my third time getting whiplash, and I was really concerned I wasn't even going to be able to be a lash artist again. I ended up having to take 2 months off. I went from having all of my clients booked out, fully booked completely till the end of the year, to losing about over half of my clientele after those last 2 months. And I have been on I'm getting better, but it has been a constant strive again to try and like get to that point. So it gave me another level of appreciation for what it means to be that career lash artist again. I had forgotten what that was like. I had forgotten what it was like to have to like work to get new clients.
Mhm.
And I was really, really, really fortunate that a couple of my clients actually came to me and literally said, like, we weren't sure if you were going to even be a lash artist anymore. Like, we were so excited for you, but like, we don't know, like, do we need to go somewhere else? And as soon as that happened, I realized that maybe subconsciously, and we don't even realize we're doing it because I wasn't aware, this push for this drive, this FOMO to go to this next big thing is actually pushing clients away, and they can feel it
Mm-hmm.
because my clients did. And it wasn't until I went back to going back to being a career lash artist and going back to my roots that my business started to take off again
Interesting.
and do this as a secondary thing.
Back when the industry first came about, we used to look up to all of these artists with like fully like had all their clientele and their artistry was so beautiful. And then when a lot of those people ended up becoming educators, we started looking for like who are the artists now that we want to celebrate their work. And so I think we are actually starting to see a rise of the artist again. And you see brands like rewarding that with, you know, sending PR packages or whatever it is, because we are actually seeing some people being celebrated as career artists too. And I think that is a really cool thing to see. I think we're going to continue to see that because I do think we have all realized like who are the educators that we want to be learning from and who are people that are just doing it because they're trying to find like a way out type of thing. And I think we're more keen to that now. And I love to see it. I love to see that we're getting smarter about where to spend our money in this industry. And we want to spend it with people that have good intentions and are not scamming and all of that, and have something truly to teach, like this class that you're talking about. It's very unique. It's very different. I do see it taking off even more than it already has. So congratulations on all of it.
Thank you. And I totally agree. And I have nothing against educators. I think it's amazing. And if you love teaching, that's fabulous. I think the biggest thing is like if like maybe
we should celebrate the artists, not yeah.
Yes, we need to celebrate the artists right now. I'm tired of seeing the career lash artists kind of get like the short end of the stick right now.
Yes.
As someone who has been. So I'm just saying this again. This is not a downplay of education. This is strictly just like noticing this from a career lash artist standpoint, and that it's time for us to kind of like take over again and just celebrate us. And like, we remember why we got into this industry in the first place. We wanted to make people feel beautiful. We wanted a creative outlet. We wanted to supply a job for ourselves, provide a living for ourselves. And like, that is something that is so amazing. And I wish that I'm so glad that it's starting to get more of that support, and that like it's being put at the forefront again, because I really, really think that is the pinnacle where things are going to start turning around again. I think that's where lash artists are going to start having fun again. They're going to start feeling like they can, because if we start celebrating the career lash artists, what ends up happening is people start feeling comfortable to like post their own things. People start learning to step into their own creativity. And when creativity starts, innovation happens. And right now, because we're back in this space of where we're trying to celebrate more of the career lash artist, I think more innovation is going to happen. I think this is going to be a time where people start feeling excited or safe to maybe like try something different, or just like play around with colored lashes, literally like I did. This is the time where I think innovation breeds innovation. And there is a lot of innovation right now in the industry that I think is going to help lash artists be like, okay, well, if this person can do it and this person can do it, like, why can't I see what I can do too? And I think that's how the industry is going to grow. It's going to keep evolving. And I think it's going to be really, really cool to see. And I'm very excited for this next phase.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to see where this method goes in 2025. I will put a link in the show notes for everyone if you want to take a look at the course that she has online. And then also your Instagram too. I will link that as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.